Yo, 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 what's up? This is Joe from Judge Innovation Growth in the Peach Capital of the state, baby. All right, boys and girls, gonna talk about this tool cart slide. We'll give it just a few minutes, get some people in here, and we'll get after it. We got 5 people. I'm gonna give it 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna get after it. I'm gonna show you what. Man, I got water everywhere. What's up, Sully? We'll give it 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Give it 2 minutes. And then I'll talk about what I ain't got much today. Some of the stuff come in, but not much. Really wasn't doing anything. I don't know, exciting, I guess. Run a lot of errands today. So, I don't have a lot in the shop, but I do have something. Where's the 10mm socket? Right here it be. All right, boys and girls. Got 1 minute. 96, 94, got 55 seconds. And then I'm gonna get after it. I'm gonna show y'all what I got on my mind. Let me know what y'all think. And then we'll go from there. Then I gotta get the shovel and get this mess up. And we'll go from there. All right, so let's go. Today is, I don't even know what today is. This channel about just scared. I don't know what that means. All right, so I was telling you about on this welding table, right? On this welding table. This welding table that this welding table is built. It's 5 foot wide, 10 foot long, 3/8 plate, 5/8 holes. 5/8 holes are the mounting holes are, they're on 6.5 inch centers on this end. Yeah, so yeah, 6.5. Yeah, so they go 6.5, 5.5, 6.5, 5.5, 6.5, 5.5, stuff like that. So the problem is underneath the table, right? It's just like a catch-all. You know, you just throw stuff underneath it and then it gets buried and you can't find it, and it's just been neglected, right? So I've been trying to figure out how I wanted to do a storage system under there, but I also wanted to be able to utilize it all. So on this end, I was thinking about something like a roller cart, or you know, inside a roller cart, or you know, a drawer, but just didn't really know. So a good friend of mine, he sent me a link that these guys, this man and woman that own this carpenter store, they do a bunch of carpenter stuff. They took unistrut and they put the unistrut, they got 4 10-foot pieces, and then they got 4 trolleys, 4 dollies. And then they made this thing, they made this drawer system, right? So on their deck, on their back porch. So you know that there's a lot of dead space underneath tables, stuff that's not utilized. So what they did was they took 2 pieces of unistrut, or 4 pieces of 10-foot unistrut. They put one high and one high, and then had the dolly on it. And then they built a drawer and put the other dolly on that one. And they built like 5 or 6 drawers that went underneath their deck, that was like 3 foot wide and 10 foot long and like 10 inches deep. And they would hold like 400 pounds. And then they would just slide the drawer all the way out, and it would be suspended out 10 foot. And then they'd have their weed eater, their shovel, all that stuff, their rake. Each one of them had something, and then they just slide it back up underneath their deck. Well, so I was asking my friend Mark, and he sent me that, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. So I have unistrut, but I don't have the dollies. So when I was out doing errands today, I went by Lowe's, and they don't have the dollies. They said it was a special order thing. And I was like, you know what? But last night I got to thinking. Hey, I got this bed cart in my other truck that I used to use. I used the truck, but I don't use the bed cart no more. So you know what? Let me go out there and take it out, bring it in the shop, see what it looks like, and then go from there. So that's what I did. I went out there, got the cart, or got the bed cart, or bed slide, got it out of the bed, put it underneath the table, and it fit perfect. It was the same length. I mean, it was like it was made for it. So then I reached out to another buddy that does laser cutting and fabricating and stuff, and asked him if he had any expanded metal. He said he had number 6 and number 12. And I told him what I needed. I said I need one piece 35 inches wide by 48, and another piece 22 by 48. And he said, I'll see what I got and I'll get you back. So I'm just going to show you. So here's the table. So this is what I'm talking about. So here's the table. It's messed up. It's just dirty right now because I was doing so. So here's the bed cart, or the bed slide. So bed slide. So a bed slide is in a bed of a truck, and sometimes it has drawers, sometimes it has plywood on it, and then you can put stuff on it, and then you turn the knob. When you turn the knob, you slide it out. Well, it's just clamped in. It's not bolted down yet, but you can see, I mean, it fits perfect, right? So I had some 1-inch tubing, and then I had some old angle iron. I don't throw nothing away, so I had enough. So this piece down here is welded. This piece up here is just tacked. So I'm gonna go see if he's got expanded metal, and if he does, I'm gonna put expanded metal on the top, and then I'm gonna put a piece of expanded metal in here. And the reason why I'm gonna put it in there is so when I turn this right here, I can pull this out like that, right? And then there'll be a piece of expanding metal in here. I'll just drop it in this notch and I'll tack it. I'll just take this loose because like I said, I just have it tacked. Now, ideal, it'd looked a whole lot better if I had a piece of 1-inch tubing and made a rectangular frame like that. But I'm trying to do this without buying anything. Because I had the bed cart, I had the tubing, I had that 1/2-inch angle, I had that 1.5-inch angle. Now, so like I said, a piece of expanding metal is gonna sit in this trough and I'm gonna stitch it. There's gonna be a piece of expanding metal on this that go all the way across in case something falls, it won't fall through like that. Plus, I'll bolt that frame down to the main frame, and then I'll put a piece of expanding metal. I'll put a piece of expanding metal in here. Therefore, I can make some more of these hooks, and I can hook the expanding metal like that, right? I can hook it like that. By doing that, I can take all my tools and I can put on this side and I can put them on this side. So both sides of that picture frame will have grinders, heat guns, drills, nibblers, all that stuff on there. So that will clean up that section there. These boxes in here, some of them can be thrown away and burnt, but that will do that, right? So you kind of get the idea. Well, and then when I don't need anything, I just turn the knob, slide it back out of the way. Now, like I say, I just have it clamped right now. So I'll move it over and then I'll drill some holes and then I'll bolt it to the main frame and you're good to go. So here's the second thing. So I got to put a little bit of, and then this just slides back in place. And then, like I said, I'll get it where it's pretty close to this and it's level with that. And then it's out of the way and there's plenty of room underneath there. It don't hit nothing. Now, what are you going to do on this side here? Well, that's a good question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get him to order some Reese hitch tubing. Now, you can get some Reese hitch tubing that has no seam in it. So I'm going to get him to order me some Reese hitch tubing, male and female, and then this is what I'm going to do right here. Since this spot right here is dead space, right? There's nothing being used here, right? I mean, there's just dead space. Well, I have to get a new bench grinder to put right here. You notice the other day I went to Harbor Freight and I was looking at some stuff. Well, the new bench grinder, if I bolt it down right here, it's going to come over to that line right there. So pretty much 18 inches of my table, I'm going to be gone. Well, that's okay because can't really use nothing here anyway because the drill press and the little shear. Well, if I put the sander and I bolt the sander down to the table, it's going to go over here. So now I'm into the flat spot of the table. So if I had to build exhaust or lay anything on the table, it's going to be in the way. So I don't want to do that. But I am going to put the bench grinder right here, and the wire wheel will be on this side where you can throw this stuff down on the ground. But I am going to put the bench grinder right here, and then the cable goes through this hole, right? Now, but I do want the other stuff. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come off of this 4x4 tubing, 3/16. I'm going to come out with a stiff leg, all right? I'm going to come out with a piece. I don't know how far yet. Once I get one of the tools, I'll know. Let's just say I'm going to come over where it comes out 6 inches from this plate, all right? So if we just look at it, if I come over and I measure 6 inches, and then that is 2.5, so 6, 7, 8, just come over 9 inches, right? So bring a piece of tubing out 9 inches, piece of reese hitch tubing. Weld it to this and come out 9 inches, all right? Then take another piece of tubing and weld it at 9 inches up and down. So it'll be like this. So if you're looking at it, it'll look like a backwards L, right? Then come down here and weld another piece that comes out and grabs that piece and then gusset, right? So basically what it's gonna look like, where's my handy dandy Sharpie? I don't know where my Sharpie is, but we'll use a pen. So what it will look like is, find me something to write on. No, wrong, is workbank. I don't know what that means. So basically, this is the table, all right? So what I'm talking about doing is coming off the table with a piece of reese hitch tubing over 9 inches, all right? And then on the end of it, weld a piece of reese hitch tubing, I don't know, 6 inches down, I guess. And then make it, or has a, whatever this angle, this 90-degree angle, right? Cut the end of it to the 90-degree angle and kick it back to itself, you know, angle that side so you got a stiff leg, right? So it'll just be a pedestal that's sticking out of this. Now you're gonna say, well, Jay, that's gonna stick out and somebody's gonna walk around and hit it. Who's gonna walk around and hit it? I'm the only one in here. So it'll be out 9 inches sticking right here. Well, you already got this sticking out. And this thing's already hit my head a couple times, so you're already losing this much. So if this piece comes out, but you gotta also take consideration, when you use this piece of machine, you have to turn this. So whatever this is, this has to be a little bit further than this. So whenever you turn in this, it'll clear whatever piece of machine is sitting here. So if I have this piece of reese hitch tubing sitting here, you know, right? And I have a belt sander. So what I can do is, let's just say we have a tool, right? And have that tool bolted to a plate. And then on that plate, there'll be a piece of reese hitch tubing, all right? And then probably won't be no need for a pin because it's already heavy, but if it needs a pin later, I'll put a pin in it. So basically, take this part or this tool and it will drop down into that pedestal. And then the tool will be bolted, or the tool will be in this pedestal. And then I'll have a receptacle right here where I can plug up and use it. And I can use the polisher. I can use the polisher, use the grinder, or the sander, whatever. Just add multiple tools, right? And then everything will be on a pedestal with a piece of reese hitch tubing, right? And then once all that's that way, and then when I get done with it, what I'm gonna do on this side of the cart is I'm gonna build a stand on this side of the cart. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it because I don't wanna buy, well, if I buy a 20-foot stick of reese hitch tubing, I don't know how much I'll need, but let's just say I buy a 10-foot stick of the reese hitch tubing, the ID, and then 10-foot stick of the other one, which is OD, which they go inside each other. You got male and you got female, or excuse me, you got female and male. And then I cut them all, I don't know, if I divide it up and I cut them, 12 inches. So if I cut them a foot, all right, what was this, 1 tick? If if I cut it a foot, then I can get 10 sticks of this one and 10 sticks of that one. So that would be gracious plenty. And then I can go from there. So I only need one female on the table, right? But then I need more females on this. So when I need a tool, I can slide this out, right? And I can have a stand right here. I have multiples, and then just build something else, come up with some angle, some 2-inch tubing. I got some 2-inch tubing, and just build a cradle, and then take the sanders and stuff, and they'll be bolted to the pedestal like a reese hitch. I can just pull it out like a reese hitch and just drop it, drop it, drop it. So depending on the layout, it's 5:20 p.m. So depending on the layout of the tools and how I lay it out, because it's going to fill up quick. So if I put like a sander this way, something this way, something this way, something this way, something this way, it'd be like playing Tetris. So I might be able to put 2 here, 1 there, 2 there, whatever. Just depends. I don't know. But that will clean up a lot, and then I won't lose my table space, because once the table's cleaned, right now I'm only losing roughly 14 inches of the table because of this shear. So basically the table is 10 foot long. Yes, 120 inches long. So I'm actually losing a foot. So actually I have 9 foot working space. So I have 9 by 5. So I got 9 by 5, 36? Yeah, so it's 9 foot long, 5 foot wide. So that's how much working space I have. So that's that. All right, so that's about it on that. The next thing is, I'll show you this. So the next thing I have is, I knew I had a radiator shroud off of an old aluminum radiator. Now, it won't work because it's not wide enough to do what it, but it kind of gives me an idea of what I got going on. So that fan, for the time being, will work on this. So they have, now it's not the best thing to do, but they have clips. They're like plastic zip ties, and you can actually put the fan directly on the radiator. So where it's bolted at, you unbolt it, then you run these plastic, they're like plastic zip ties with button heads on one side. You run it through, and then you just zip tie it back to the radiator. Race cars use them because, stuff like that. So I'm thinking for the time being, that's the way I'm going to do it, because we're not going to buy an aluminum radiator for this truck right yet, because there's nothing wrong with that one. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. And when we do order an aluminum radiator, we'll have to find one that has the transmission cooler line on one side and the power steering pump cooler on the other side. So there's one on eBay for like $300. And it comes with a shroud like this with 2 fans, and it fits this truck perfectly, but it's like $300. And that $300, he can spend that $300 on something else. Because I have the fan, the zip tie kit that holds the fasteners that hold a radiator to aluminum radiator was like $6 on Amazon for the kit. So I can take that radiator, or I can take that fan, put it on that radiator. I can wire it up on a relay. I have relays, so he'll save money right now, because we don't need to purchase aluminum radiator at this moment. But whenever we purchase aluminum radiator, I'll pull this radiator out. I'll take that fan off. We will scrap this radiator. We'll cut the ends of it off. We'll take it and get a little bit of money out of the aluminum. Probably won't be much, but right now don't need to spend the $300 on a new radiator. He needs to spend that $300 on something else. So the $300 on something else, he could take the $300 that he was going to spend on the radiator, and he can put $300 towards the rear speaker box for the truck that goes behind the seat, or, you know, whatever else. But nevertheless, that's it. That's about all I got for today. That's about it, boys and girls. One package did come in. This speaker wire had a lot of good reviews. It's 14 gauge. I'll show you. It's 14 gauge speaker wire. It's from Garrett. It had super good reviews. It was suggested to me for different people, but that's it right there. So this 14 gauge wire here is going to be, and it's 14 gauge stranded copper clad aluminum. So this right here is what was recommended. So we're going to use this to wire up the subs in the 68C10. So that's that. I think I'm done with the console on the 68. I just got to get with Baby Legs and see when's a good time to go to his place, because it's about an hour and a half one way. So we'll make sure it's worth my while and his while before I drive all that way and take care of that. But besides that, there ain't a lot of traffic on here tonight. Let's see. What's up, AD18? You asked me that before. Do I have pets or a farm? Lobster trap. No, it is it's a tool cart that I'm making. But the next one I'm going to get, I have the unistrut. I just have to get the dollies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the unistrut and I'm going to bolt it to the table or to the floor on this side. And then the dollies drop down in like train tracks. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and probably have to use 2.5 inch tubing. I got some 2.5 inch tubing, or I might just use unistrut because it has the holes already in it, and I can put the clip on it and drop it down and just build a picture frame or a rectangular frame, and then I'll probably just put a piece of 3/4 birch down. I got some 3/4 birch, and just bolt it down to it, and then put my plasma, or not my plasma, it broke. My Dynasty 280 water cooled TIG machine, and my welder. What's up, big fish? Yeah, I'm gonna stay on here about 2 more minutes, and then I'm gonna get off here 30 minutes. Last night, man, we went crazy, like an hour and 20 minutes. I was building this cart, big fish. I'll show you. So this is a bed slide that was in the back of my little Nissan truck. I just used some scrap. So basically, I'm gonna put some expanded metal down, and I'm gonna put expanded metal in this picture frame here so I can hang all my power tools. So, and then on this side, you'll have to watch the video. On this side, I'm gonna build a cradle with reese hitch tubing, and I'm gonna build a pedestal off of this right here with a reese hitch tubing, so I can take my grinder or my bench grinder, my sander, that polisher that me and you talked about, and instead of bolting it to the table and losing floor space on my table, I'm just gonna build a pedestal right here. Yeah, I ain't do much of nothing today. I had a bunch of errands, so I just knocked this out just a few minutes ago. So build a pedestal right here with a piece of reese hitch tubing and a stiff leg going back. And then whenever I need the buffer or the polisher, the sander and all that stuff, I can just reach down here, grab this, slide that bad boy out, and then everything will be stacked right here. Grinder, polisher, sander, air hammer, you know, whatever will be here. And I can just pull it off of this. Once I finish this, stick it in the cradle, hook it up, use it, get done, pick it up, stick it back in there, slide it in there. On this section here, I just tacked this. Now, it would have looked a whole lot nicer if I'd have put 1-inch tubing at the top, 1-inch tubing at the bottom. But this is what I had in the bone pile. So it's going to suit its purpose. So basically, what I'll do is I'll take the piece of expanding metal and I'll put the expanding metal in that trough right there. I'll knock this piece off. It's just tacked. I'll cut the tacks. I'll put the expanding metal in like this right here. I put it in that little trough, and then I go around and just stitch it. So this whole rectangle piece will be a piece of expanding metal, and by doing that, piece of expanding metal like that, then I can just put a hook on it, and I can hang my grinders, my saw, you know, all that stuff, and then that cleans up this side. And then I'm gonna get some unistrut and some dollies, and I'm gonna build another one, but I'm just gonna do it with a 3/4 floor, and I can just roll it out. And then I'll put my welder and all that stuff, and then clean this stuff up. And just, some of this stuff can be thrown away, but just clean it, because tables catch everything. Just throw it under the table, it'll be all right. So that's what I'm doing. And just because I built this table a few years ago, and I really didn't know. I mean, I knew I wanted to put the welder and stuff like that, but I just never. And then my buddy Mark from West Virginia gave me the idea, and I went and watched the video. And this man and lady, they made they made sliding drawers underneath their porch that were 10 foot long, and there was like 3 foot wide, 10 foot long, and they put their shovels and rakes and weed eaters and chainsaws, and then they slid underneath the porch, and they would slide them out all the way 10 foot, and it said they would hold 400 pounds, and I'm like, daggone. So if I got the unistrut, I had this and wasn't using it, so I just repurposed it. So if I took the unistrut and I built another, like if that whole section over there, if I just done that whole section over there where it would slide out, right? So it comes in 10 foot sticks. My table was basically 5 foot wide on the bottom, so I could get an upper and lower runner on this side, and I could get an upper and lower runner on that side, and then I could tie it together, and that whole section would roll out, and then I could put my welder. I could just stack stuff on it and grid it off where it don't catch all. And I could even put a bolt bin in there. I could take my bolt bin and put it in there, and then whenever I need it, I could just slide it out. And it's just dead space we don't use. I mean, look at these tables. I put these tables up at the door because I don't go out the door, hardly enter any, unless I need to. I put these tables up, and they catch everything. They just catch everything. They catch all. So, yeah, I appreciate it, Big Fish. Well, that's about it, boys and girls. I've been on here 30 minutes. Like I said, I didn't want to stay on here too long. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, stay tuned. If I get some more expanding metal, if he's got expanding metal and he calls me tomorrow and says he's got expanding metal, I'm going to finish at least that section of it and then get him to order some reach tubing, because he can order the tubing in 20-foot sticks cheaper than I can go to Tractor Supply or Walmart and buy a drop hitch. So he orders, 20 foot of the female and 20 foot of the male, I can make. Plus, another thing I want to do is outside right here, in front of my lift, I want to, everybody's telling me I'm crazy, I want to do this. Big Fish, what do you think? This is what they telling me I'm crazy. So, out there underneath the canopy, it's 40 foot wide and it's 30 foot. Yes, 40 foot wide. It's 40 foot this wide and it's 42 wide, 30 foot deep out front underneath the canopy. Well, from there to my paint booth, it's 140 feet from the front of the canopy to the paint booth. Well, it drops down. So literally it drops down like this, and it's like on a 7.5 to 10 degree pitch all the way down. Well, I'm going to tell you, If you got to push something up that hill that does not run, or if I have to get something in the shop that does not run, it is a pain in the butt. Literally, I have to hook the tractor to it with a strap, put my boy in the truck, put him whatever. He drives the tractor into the shop, pulling it up, and then I move it over. I put the car on wheel dollies. I push it out of the way. I do a 3-point turn on the tractor, and I get the tractor out. So this is what I want to do. I want to take a piece of 1/2-inch plate, at least a 1/2-inch plate, or 3/8, heavy duty, right? Love how you Yanks talk. I'm not a Yank. What's your definition of a Yank? So what I want to do, Big Fish, and everybody, is I want to take and get a 110 or 120 volt electric winch from Harbor Freight or something, 10,000, 12,000, whatever they have, an electric, all right? I want to build a plate. I want to bolt that to that plate on a reach plate. I want to take a core drill and drill outside in my concrete at the face of this bay, all right? Drill a core hole into the concrete where a piece of reach tubing will slide down into that. Then I want to weld that reach tubing to the bottom of that plate. And then I want to put anchor bolts in the plate. Drop it down. I'm good. Drop that plate down into the concrete and then anchor bolt it with 1/2-inch bolts with chemical anchors. So when you actually look at it, it'll be a plate. I'm gonna draw a picture of it. So it'll kind of be like that. So this would be the concrete. This would be a 3/8 plate with a winch bolted to it, with a tubing on it, and then drop it down into the concrete at least 18 inches, right? Then anchor bolt this plate to the concrete, and then that winch will be on that plate, and it will be bolted, chemical anchored, and this stiff leg down into the ground, right? So when it goes to pull, so imagine this is the pole down into the ground. When it goes to pull on it, not only does it have the anchor bolts holding it, it has this stiff leg in the concrete, and it keeps it wedged, right? And then the receptacles out there, I can plug the receptacle up, and then what I can do is I can put a strap on whatever I have, and then whee, I can winch it up the hill. No more pushing, no more nothing, and get it up to the lift, and then pick it up with the lift, put it on wheel dollies, and then roll it into the shop. That's my idea on that. So, because them roll dollies, man, I can move stuff by myself with them wheel dollies. So that's about it, boys and girls. So I've been on here 40 minutes. Come back tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow at 5, just to give you a touch bases on if I got anything more material to finish that cart right there, and then we'll go from there. I appreciate you, boys and girls. Remember what I said, don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. I call that working smarter. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's rough. It's rough by yourself, but you know all about that, don't you, Big Fish? All right, boys and girls, remember what I said, don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep off your own front porch while it's sweeping off anybody else's. But God first, let loose and drag. Peace, love, and chicken grease. I'm out.